the Matusi. You know, we are just giving free microphones and airtime for politicians to insult each other, you know, dance and do all that fun. But let's focus on the substance of the election. Like now, TV47, what will be their focus areas in this election? You see, like you have the 10-point agenda in your, so that when candidates come or aspirants, they talk about those issues, because media, TV47 stands for maybe social justice, rule of law. You know, you must also isolate things that then, and that's why I was saying, you can be seen to support a party, not because of the airtime you give them, but because the policies they stand for example, are what the station stands for. So that the support is more about the issues rather than the individuals, you see. So that was missing. Look at Mbere North, Kaspul, look at Olkarau, it was the same. Malaba, it was just about the parties, the UDA versus Kenya Kwanza versus, you know. And we felt in Dikir, there are almost more than 10 candidates again, but we only heard about the two candidates, you know, DCP and Yuda. So are we being fair? There were lady candidates, there were youth candidates. Nobody gave them a fair chance to be heard, even to be listened. So that is a major gap that came, that we are still stuck on personalities rather than on issues that would sometimes look at it. Even a senator candidate or aspirant is saying how he will bring roads, he will bring, but you look at the functions of a senator, is there any function for her or him to bring a road or water? But we never probe, we never ask, because politicians have known once they come and say, I'll bring water, I'll bring, even those whose mandate does not even. So that's still like the interrogation of issues. Like the other day, I was seeing a story on what, anyway. But you can see that lack of focus and probing, interviewing skills, a lot of, in fact, we're discussing at the council, and we noticed that nearly 70% of the journalists who will be covering these elections, 2027, is their first time. So obviously, that already gives you a gap. For one day, there's a mistake that was done here on the station, and I was calling the editor. The name Victor Sura is an intern. You see, those things will come. Once that mistake is done, much as internally we understood some of these people need holding of a hand, mentoring, but a mistake has already been done. And I see a number of mistakes media houses are doing. Push kidogo, unapata ni there's no leadership. Check weekend when senior editors are not working. Most of the editors are not working on weekends. So there's and it's weekend when politics is at high, when public rally. So when we are leaving sometimes people without support, without mentoring to handle such, is how we are getting some of these mistakes. Because at one Juda, but surely an experienced journalist wouldn't have allowed such a thing. You see. So that's already, again, that mentorship that we have allowed. The youth who are joining the newsroom, we are not giving them support. You are telling them, waenda wachomeke ndio waone kukaba election si rahisi. You see, so you are punishing somebody for lack of. He just came from college. What he needs is more briefing and debriefing. A lot of us, you saw even on Lukau, we still have a case where, again, journalists also divided themselves. The issue of safety and protection of journalists is a critical thing that we are going as it is today, and with this. Zoning, thinking, and what, a lot of journalists will be exposed to dangers, because where when a politician says msiangalie ama mkiona hapa reporters wa TV47 fanya, you know, people will just go for journalists, and it happened in this country. We are seeing that. We had cases of journalists being beaten in Mbere, Kaspul. We had journalists in now Kalau. Journalists are becoming victims in any of these, either being harassed, equipment broken, and so we're asking media houses, as you dispatch, as you prepare, as you make election prepare, are you thinking about the safety of your journalists? Basic things like insurance, insuring equipment, and there are insurance companies that are giving very good rates. You can insure your staff, even for just a year, because they will be heightened safety issues against especially field-based journalists. I mean, either from police, political goons, and others. So these are issues that need for people to look at. We still see the gap around gender issues, that our politics is still, even media, still very male-dominated. That a lot of stories. Look at even those things in the Mulu were showing me. The whole newspaper is men, you know. So again, the sensitivity, the deliberate affirmative action by media for people with disability, for youth, to also to appear. There are discussions seem not to be a priority. Yet most of the journalists are youth. I mean, but we don't see this deliberate thinking around. Now there's a national conversation coming up. How many youths are being involved in the discussion ahead of that? So you see that a lot missing. These parties, how many youths, how many people with disability are we seeing anyway in these rallies, for example? It's just the normal male domination, and that was coming out again. The issue of the lack of day 2 stories, follow-ups. That we do a story, a very good story day 1, tomorrow is forgotten. We have much as they're too much, but there's some public interest stories that need follow-up, that need a day 2 story, you know, so that then what were the nuances, what were the issues? It helps a lot, but when we are just stuck, the interrogation, if this candidate was in Party A, for example, stole CDF money. Now, if he moved to Party B, does he now become clean? You know, the interrogation, we seem to forget so fast about some of these people that if we came here and around our discussion, does it make me just good because I moved from Part 1 to Part 2?
You mentioned something about journalist safety and media safety, as of course as we continue to give coverage, but that we see some media houses, you know, being denied opportunities and chances to cover